welcome to the Talon Outdoor Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm JD.
And I'm Grant.
We'll have
Boy, this is a throwback.
And two empty chairs.
We'll have Captain Paul in here in a little bit.
We'll have him on the phone.
Oh, is he on the phone?
He's going to be on the phone in a little bit.
Well, he'll be here in spirit and in voice.
Yes.
In mind, just not in body.
Yeah.
He'll be mind
Man,
and soul,
fishing.
not body. Anyway, well, we'll talk to him a little bit. We had to adjust. It's my 40th high school, we call it, homecoming?
That's what you
whatever.
call it.
Reunion. Yeah, it's the 40th high school reunion this weekend.
I don't know what y'all call it over there in Marana.
Well, it's I don't know. We keep getting more and more cancellations and can't be there.
'Cause
And got
everybody
this,
dying.
and there was a storm, and well, there was a percentage of us that ain't around no more.
When we get our age,
people go, "Well, I'll come to the next one." I don't know about that.
You're looking,
When
you
you get
looking
to
all
40,
that good. I'm just
I'll
saying.
make 45. Yeah, I mean, if you made 40, you probably make 50. The numbers are going down, and so I spent Wednesday night building the float for the homecoming parade, which, if you're listening to this on Saturday, was last night. I'm hoping there's no tragic events that occur on the janky rails that I built down the side of the old equipment trailer. And they're like, "Well, we need a float. We got trailers." I said, "I've got access to trailers." And
You got a walker ramp, wheelchair ramp for all your
well, what it
geriatric-
is, it's that little low boy trailer. That,
Well, they ain't got far to fall,
So on
then.
the back, they got the two ramps that fold up, and then there's a little 18-inch ramp. So it's really only about 6 or 8 inches on the green. Run up there and grab one of the ramps and step onto the tire ramp, step on the ramp, step up. There's a lot of ramps in there. So I was ramping up to say we're going to be in the parade. I bought all this fancy tassel. Remember back in the day when they used to put chicken wire on those floats and they'd
Heck
stuff them
yeah.
full of napkins?
Napkins, paper, or
And when they
Kleenex.
said we'd do a float, and I said, well, we're trying to piece all this together, and the folks that are still in town are trying, and everybody else is focused on the event and the events. And I'm like, well, I'll throw us something together to put in the parade. And I'm like, well, I got chicken wire. I ain't stuffing all them dadgum napkins. And I got thinking about it. I said, you know what? Tassel. That the tablecloth surround. So I ordered some Mariana's colors of purple and gold, and ordered some of that. And me and my wife went out there last night, and I cut up a bunch of 2x4s and made rails for it. And the whole time I'm thinking, okay, this trailer's better because it's lower to the ground and we're getting old. So if somebody does fall, it ain't that far. And
I don't know, man. When I stepped off the ladder wrong a few months ago, boogered my finger up, my toe, and all that stuff. I still ain't got over that. And that wasn't but about a 2 foot off the ground deal.
well, I'm waiting to see. And my dumb butt volunteered to have the Saturday night reunion part at my house, and so and my thought process was it would push me to actually do some things to the house that I've been putting off for a while. Yep, been doing that. Getting the electrical stuff done, and I had, when we built our carport, we put these 5-foot LED strip lights up there. Not stripper lights, JD, but strip lights.
My bad.
The,
I was getting excited. I mean, you hadn't invited me to the party, but
Those are multicolored and strobe.
gotcha. Okay, I got you.
But I put these strip lights up there, and I'm like, well, they're not terribly expensive, and blah blah blah. And then after about 3 years, bugs have got in the lenses, and and now they look up there, and some of them are brighter and some of them are dimmer. It's kind of like, well, speaking of classmates, and so just kidding, guys.
And then
None
there's
of them
that
listen
one.
to this show, and then so I called my electrician. I ordered. I've been watching those. I don't know why, but these high bay lights on Facebook just been beating me up, and I'm like, I ain't ordering that off Facebook. So I went to Amazon and ordered them off of Amazon.
Oh, that's so much better.
and had Stephen Davis, my electrician, at the house, and he came out there and they wired what I like. He put just outlets up above the pole barn, so I can, if one of them goes bad, I just crawl up there on a ladder, unplug it, put another one in. Holy cow, those things are bright. I mean, turned it on the first time, I'm like, oh, I can't see. I mean, it just, Lord have mercy.
Let there
Put
be
6
light,
of them
there
up there.
was
Could
light,
have
and it
done
was good.
3. Could have done 3, did 6. And, man, it is like brighter than, I mean, like the brightest day. I mean, it's crazy. But then we get to looking at the floor, and I'm like, oh, well, now we got to pressure wash this concrete because now all the stains are showing. So it's one thing on top of another on another. I ruined a perfectly good brand new T-shirt. Now it's got little white spots all over it from the bleach.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I've been doing that this week, and then you got to mow, and then you got to fix the driveway and put gravel in the potholes in the driveway, and then you got to, well, you can't do it all. You got to part of it. You got to do all of it, and then you got to do this. I got to mow down by the road too, because where do you turn in? It's got to be mowed down there. I'm stupid. But hey, my wife's happy. The house is. Then she goes, "Are they gonna come in the house?" I'm like,
well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
No, would you expect them to pee in the yard, Donna? Come on now.
Well, the guys can,
Well, yeah, they can, but you don't. Well, never mind.
So I'm like, yeah.
I keep forgetting I'm, Jackson County. You just put a.
Well, yeah. I told her we just need to build a whole new wing to the house and make it an event space, and just, we had
that's
that.
just what you need to do, Charlie.
Yeah. Just for family, family events.
Pole barn.
Well, we went back. Yeah. Well, we have a pole barn that we park in. It's 60 by, or wait a minute, it's 40 something by 30 something.
Because that's how long you could get the boards at the time.
No, well, it's one of those steel pole barn kits with the 8x8s. That's what we park in, and yeah.
Gotcha.
So
all good.
So we're recording this on a day that Tallahassee's getting an auspicious visitor.
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk about it now because they were trying to keep it on the
down low. Yeah,
I think they were trying to keep it on the down low because they just didn't want to deal with crowds.
Well, it was all over Facebook.
Yeah,
They were going. President Biden is landing in Tallahassee, and it's messing up my whole day.
Well, I was told
before he ever showed up
earlier
in
the week. I was told not to talk about it. So, but now we can because my wife. Yeah,
it's already happened.
It's already happened by the time this airs, so we can talk about it.
And the thing is by the time this show airs, he will have come and gone and not even knew that he was here.
That's probably true.
I went to, and he'll tell stories about it. Well, that one time when I was in the Tallahassee, that Indian city.
Fighting the Indians.
When I remember back when I was fighting the Indians, it was I went down there and they had the Seminole Indians that was in town, and they were there, and they were. I
got hairy legs, and they tried to scalp my legs. And
that's just wrong.
So I was my wife was doing partaking in a lot of the preparation and planning for this event, and she just also happened to have gone to the grocery store about the time that she found out that she was participating in that event, and or helping it and going to be there, and she came back home and she, we shower in the same shower, so I notice soaps and products and hair, whatever. Well, she bought a new hair conditioner. It was the herbal essence stuff that smells really good. And I told her, I said, I know what's going on. You're buying that herbal essence, so when you get a full sniffing, when when Joe shows up and he goes to get a full sniff on your hair, he's gonna get all that flowery, fruity smell, and you might get a raise. You might get invited to Washington D.C.
Setting up a lawsuit.
So
right there.
I'm covering. So I'm having to use this. I had to borrow her foundation to cover up the black eye. So and she gave me.
Man,
I had to defend myself. She tried to beat me up. That's not why I did it. I know that's not why you did it, baby. But I noticed things, and I was just coincidences and whatever.
I remember doing the SWAT team did the escort with Al Gore when he came into town one time, and it was it was a campaign thing. They were in town. The sitting president gets to spend all the money on their campaign stuff, and so we had to go. We're riding along in a follow-up vehicle, and me and old Sparky Pruitt, we were sitting back there and with sniper rifles, and we're part of the counter assault team and all this stuff. Which that happens on these escorts. So we're there, and our job is to jump out and counterattack and get shot at while they're getting away. When it was over with, he wanted, y'all come up here and get your pictures taken with him. We're sitting there. I looked at him. He looked at me. I'm like, hey,
I'm good.
I don't want to have nothing to do with him. You don't feed me? No. We'll be right back. course, I've been watching the devastation from the storms, and all I can do is thank God it didn't hit us head on. Now, I feel bad for the people that did hit. And I saw somebody post on Facebook, if I see one more post about, I sure am glad the storm turned and went back over there, I'm going to, because those people got hit three times in less than a year and a half with different storms, and man, that's bad for y'all, and I hate that for you. And I don't know what y'all did to piss God off or why he's trying to smudge out that part of the state. But it's like he's taking his thumb and he's just rubbing out that part of the doggone state of Florida, trying to make it go away. I don't know. You need to figure out who offended him and fix it, because that's just bad. I don't know. And now that said, I've been looking at all these floods and stuff. Man, there's just heartbreaking pictures out there. And
the other side of that is there has not been a tremendous, and one's too many, but there has not been a tremendous loss of life in Florida. I got a feeling that in North Carolina and East Tennessee there is going to be a staggering number.
As of Thursday at noon, it's exceeded 200 people total.
Yeah,
which is a huge number, but that ain't big as it's going to be.
I'm going to be shocked if it's not 2,000.
They don't even know where people are. They can't communicate with anybody. They've got local cell service on portable places down in some of those places where they have. But people, the towers are down, the roads are out. There's no way to get in. I mean,
whole towns washed away.
Well, I mean,
whole towns.
Well, everybody lives in the valleys,
right?
There'd be a little stream running along the side of town, right, and they're building all around it. Well, it wasn't a stream no more. It was it was a Mississippi River coming through town. Mobile homes being very mobile and floating downstream, along with houses and everything else. I mean, it's going to be in our lifetime. A lot of those places will never look the same.
Oh, sure. And devastation. Water is a scary thing. They're not prepared to deal with rain like we are, and because of the terrain and all that.
Our ground is also like Swiss cheese.
Yeah, Our
not that. Not
30.
Those,
don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
30 inches of rain in here would be a lot.
Oh yeah.
But it's not uncommon for us to get 10 inches of rain in a thunderstorm sometime in the summertime, or a front comes through. It's not unusual for us to get 8 or 10 inches of rain. I've seen 10 inches of rain fall in an hour and a half, 2 hours, a time or two.
Well, when I get 10 inches of rain at the house, I'm thinking, dadgummit, I got to pump the pool out.
Right.
I mean, other than that, I'm good. It's now the storm surge down at the coast.
Right.
Obviously has done a huge amount of damage in Keaton Beach and places like that. I mean, just the damage is devastating there. But that's living in Florida on the coast nowadays. I mean, you
ain't just nowadays. It's been going on a long time. I mean, I've seen Panama City Beach wiped off the map. I've seen, we've seen Mexico Beach wiped off the map. And people that live here kind of expect to, at some point in time, have to deal with that, and you deal with it the best way you can.
You're not getting insurance on that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you want to pay through the nose. But
I'm sad because my favorite barbecue joint ever anywhere is gone. The River Art District in Asheville, a place called 12 Bones Barbecue, that I would go out of my way to go eat ribs there, is gone. So
I saw a video last night. It's so bad. They are literally using pack mule trains to go up these hiking trails and to maybe find a way to cut through into one of those hollers in one of the communities and just see if they can make it.
Well, here's what scares me a little bit. Okay, so this presidential election may well be decided by North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
All of your conservative voters live outside the city limits,
yep,
which is where all this damage is. Your liberal cities, where the other side's strength is, they're fine. It's the conservative areas. How are they going to get to the polls to vote? And I granted, their life and their safety and all that matters, but the next 4 years' future of this country may very well rest in the hands of people that can't get food and water and transportation and communication right now. I just think that's just enough to tip the scales in the other way. And
we cannot we cannot afford 4 more years of weak world leadership, because you see what we have gotten in the last 4 years. There is a correlation between the strength of our leadership in this country and events around the planet, you look at, I mean, you can't tell me that Iran would have just done what they did to Israel if Trump or any other strong leader would have been sitting at the White House, regardless of party. I mean, it's just, if you'd have had, I don't think they'd have done it if Bill Clinton was sitting in there, because he wouldn't have put up with it.
Well, Iran does these token responses. We're going to shoot some missiles over there. Everybody knew it was happening. We're going to shoot some missiles over there. We know you're going to shoot them down. You know, if they were serious about it, they'd just launch them all at once, and
I don't know,
they would overwhelm
I
But then they know that the response would be, it's metered responses back and forth. You know, it's they don't want to pick a bigger fight, but you know,
maybe you got some. There's some validity to that. I agree, but it's still I still don't think it would have happened. Period. I don't think Putin would have invaded Ukraine. I don't think
I agree
that these other countries wouldn't be encroaching on other. And I just don't think it would have happened if you'd had strong leadership.
They look at Trump as being strong and a little crazy.
And a little crazy.
Yeah, he's a little crazy.
I don't disagree with him. He's a little he's a little bit off unhinged sometimes, and he gets mad and emotional. And but I mean, what were you most afraid of in law enforcement when we were going to calls? Is that mentally ill, the mentally ill person that you can't predict their behavior is the most dangerous thing on the planet when you can't truly predict somebody's behavior. And I think that's a lot of what they kind of looked at Trump like, you know.
Well, my daddy told me when I got in law enforcement, he said, particularly about veterans, he said, you just be careful around crazy old men. He said they'll mess you up. And they don't. And he was talking about his peers from the old Vietnam vets and stuff.
Yeah.
He said, son, what you need to be most worried about is somebody like me that you wouldn't think was a problem. But he said, but yeah, crazy old men to get you. What about
truth to that.
What about? Did you watch the debate?
I did. I watched every bit of it because I didn't get so disgusted that I turned it off.
It was actually how a debate's supposed to go. That is what a debate is supposed to be like.
I would, not that I'm probably ever going to vote Democrat for anything because I just don't agree with a lot of their stuff, but I would rather the two of those guys be at the top of the ticket than the other two.
I said the same thing. I told
at
my
least
wife,
they have a degree of decorum and they were gentlemanlike.
They answered questions.
They actually answered questions.
Yeah.
I think J.D. Vance is probably more accurate, up to speed, and a whole lot less ridiculous when they ask a policy question. He gave a articulate policy answer that you don't get. I'm so sick of the rhetoric.
He answered all of the questions that Trump refused to answer, and that's his role. His role is to come in there and clarify things. And we're not going to fact check you, and they did fact check him, and then he nailed them.
He shut them up, and they did not come back with none of that. So I thought that was awesome. The fact that I wish I'd have heard what was said when the mic cut off. I'd like to know what was actually said, but he said, "You said you're not going to fact check me. You're fact checking me, and you're going to let me respond to that." And that stopped all that silliness.
And then he came back with some. He said in one of his, we'd like to see that proof. He goes, well, after this debate, I'll release that proof. And he went back and did it. Yeah. He found the proof of the housing prices going up because of immigration, and large immigration. There's several times during that debate I wish I could have answered for him because the answer was pretty simple. Well, how is it supply and demand? Supply and demand. When the demand goes up and the supply stays the same, the prices go up. That is simple economics 101.
That is the simplest basic.
And several times they go, well, we don't understand. Why are you saying that increased immigration and illegal or
it's
whatever?
Called math. Maybe you should try it.
Yeah. And the thing, J.D. Vance is smarter than all of the people that's around him up there. I didn't know him. I mean, I know what his background was.
Because you watched the movie?
Well, I didn't watch the movie.
I've seen the movie. The movie's good.
And I hadn't read his book. And I just based on what I've heard and read about somebody who, here's the thing is, we're from that kind of background. We're from, different types of, for different reasons and different ways. And, I look at, sometimes people just end up fighting their way through and becoming very successful. And he did. He is the epitome of the American dream far beyond you or I.
Yeah.
I mean, he went and did it. I mean, and there he is. And, Trump is corporate America, but with a really weird twist because he's just always been his own dude. I don't like him. He's not a guy that I like. He's not somebody I want to spend any time with, but I like his policies.
I like the way he ran the country. I've said this a million times. I think he is a complete I'm like you. Personally, I think the man's probably just a huge jerk, but I like the way he ran the country tremendously. I like hugely, I like the way he ran the country.
Yeah, me too. And the fact that the world just sat down and shut up for 4 years when he was in there because they didn't know what he'd do.
I think the other countries were in complete shock.
Yeah,
because they're not. It was
what do you
so
mean you want
different.
us to pay for our share of NATO and our share of our own defense of our own country so that we can't afford to pay for our own defense? That's America's job.
The cow has dried up. You might want to get your own.
Yeah, I mean,
the milk cow has dried up. You might want to go start shop.
Of course, all those leaders over there talk bad about him and because they want all the handouts. And if we would quit sending money to everybody else in the world and focus on spending our wealth here, man, the Carolinas would be rebuilt in no time because we take that money we're sending everybody else so these third world dictators can have money and be our friends.
You remember going in college or in school and in elementary school what we learned or talked about Americans' production capacity is the reason we won World War II. Mm-hmm. The reason we were such the force in World War II is because of our production capacity. And we have given that all away, our ability.
We could build it back, but I think it's going to take 4 years with Trump.
It's going to take more than 4.
Yeah, we'll be back in a minute. And we're back. So we talked about so much stuff on the break. I can't remember. Oh, so the Endless Summer Blast went off at the Dothan Range last weekend.
A little soggy, but worked good.
Actually,
no?
They didn't really have any. Maybe
good.
The ground was a little wet. I went up there, and weather was beautiful. The ground was solid. There wasn't any. I didn't see any issues at all. There was a good group of folks. I mean, they had some really cool stages set up, from what I could tell. And
cool.
I went up there, did what I do, looked around, said hey, went in the store, took care of some business, and left. So, but they had it. But by all accounts, they had a good event.
Good.
So that's good. They got the Glock match coming up in November.
Yep.
I think it's November.
Yep, end of November. It's the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and you got of course, Drew and Jerry and all them. They're going to be going all sorts of nationals and this and that and the other thing in the meantime, competing. But yeah,
I hope we'll get a good turnout from the area up there on the Glock match. They've never had one there, so it'll be the inaugural. I hope we get a good turnout because it's a fun match. If you're not, it's a fun match either way. But even if you're not a serious competitor, it's a really fun match because you don't have to have all the gear. You just have to have a Glock.
Yeah, you can just have a pistol, magazines, and something to keep it in. You don't have to have a holster or nothing.
No,
like
you
that.
can walk up there with it, your Glock in a box.
You can actually probably rent a gun from us if you wanted to compete.
We've had
you
that
have
happen.
to compete with Glock. You have to shoot a Glock, but you just pick. We've got some in the rental case, and you buy some ammo, go down there and shoot. And if you're not a member of the GSSF, the Glock Sports Shooting Foundation, you can join that day.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have everything set up there, register,
and you get to buy a gun at Blue Label price down the road a year later. So
yeah,
works
and
out good.
it's not you're not running and gunning. You stand at a table or a barrel or something, and you shoot the three different stages, I think. Yeah, and so it's not right, and you don't have to win a gun. They do drawings. So you can just by entering, you got a chance to win a gun. Mm-hmm. And we always have good turnouts at our matches, so we're hoping that Dothan's the same way. They kind of stagger them around the country so that you catch a region. There are people just drive their camper or motorhome and then go from Glock match to Glock match and show up, roll out a box of Glocks and go down there and shoot and just enjoy the experience. I mean, that's the lifestyle right there.
Yeah.
Where are we going next?
Met some cool people at Glock matches from all over the country. I think the first year we had it here, we had people that travel from 13 different states here to shoot the match. That I looked at the sign up sheets.
We went up there, did that, went and bought some furniture in Dothan. Donna wanted some new living room furniture, and we went into town and we went to I can't remember the name of the place. It's off the top of my head. I know exactly what it was. Big old warehouse there. Think of it in a minute. And gone. And anyway, so we went in and bought some furniture, and we went down to the what's the name of the restaurant?
You're gonna be sniffing.
We went down to the cellar, and
you're gonna be sniffing hair for the end of the show. I washed my hair this morning. If you want to sniff,
we went to the cellar and ate, and man, that has become my very, very favorite place to eat. And I'm trying to find it. I'll mention it on the next day. I don't know what happened. What my brain took it. So we're gonna go a few seconds over on this, and you're gonna edit that out just a little bit, and then I'll
anyway,
it's something fine furniture.
I bet it is.
Yeah. Waiting on it to come in, but no, we went to the cellar and ate. And you talking about good steak? I only like my wife's steak, but man, they cooked a fantastic steak with that butter sauce on it and all that stuff, and little Kentucky Mule and some.
Nice.
That's not sauce. That's a drink. And then went to the band thing down in at Rehoboth. They had this big band thing. Went down there and watched my daughter compete and all that. They got all ones, which ones is apparently good.
Better, yeah, okay.
We'll be back in a minute. So I on the bottom of the hour segment for Tallahassee folks, y'all wouldn't have heard this on the live radio, but I was talking about. We went to Dothan the other day. My wife just had to have some new furniture, and it was Hank's fine furniture. Well, I don't know why I couldn't remember the name. And my dog, I've had two dogs named Hank, and for some reason, and Hank Williams Jr. is my favorite singer, but I just couldn't think. We'd come around there. We were fixing to go somewhere else. Looked up there, coming on the Ross Clark Circle, and I said, "Well, we can just whip up there." And Hank's look for that furniture. She goes, "That's what I was thinking. We need to." I was thinking while we were here, we should look at furniture in Dothan. And I'm like, went in there, sat on the same stuff that we sat on before, and didn't buy, and ended up buying it. Now I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
The furniture I liked wasn't out there in the front. It was in the back with the retro recliners. You know, the old, big, soft, huge recliner that just swallows you up, and it's got that real soft material, feels like microfiber, blankets and stuff. And I went in the back and sat in one of those. And everybody sells these. It's not, there's you can find these things, but I went in the back and sat in that thing, and I'm like, well, this isn't going. For me, I need to be reclined and be able to see the TV without holding my head up. In my current recliner, I have to put my hand behind my head and hold my arm up in order for me to be reclined and still see the TV on the wall. And so I went and sat in that sucker, and when I reclined it, it pushed my head up into the perfect TV viewing position. And I'm going, why are we over there looking at that? We just need some of these. And she goes, that's the same recliner my daddy had. And I said, it's the same recliner my daddy had. I don't understand why I'm any better than them. Why can't we just get a couple of these? And it's cheaper. And we went with the other stuff. And so we got the thing with the USB-C phone charging and the wireless charger and the multiple hideaway cup holders and all. So that's what we're getting. But it's like all I can think about is this recliner that I didn't get. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out where am I going to get this thing. I'm going to go get me one at some point. I just got to figure out where I'm going to hide it. And maybe put it in the attic and go sit in the
Charlie
recliner.
room.
That's my
man cave.
So I'm gonna run around on my family furniture and go get me my own little private chair just to sit in. At this point in my life, that's all I want is I just want to be comfortable, and that chair was something. And so there was another guy came in there. I don't mean to interrupt. Another guy came in there, and he's trying all the recliners over there with his wife, and he's going from recliner. I said, no, man, come here, sit in this one. He goes, what do you mean? He sat down, and he goes, yeah, but I don't know if I'll be able to see the holy cow. I can see the TV in his chair. And I said, man. So I think it was Brandon we were dealing with up there, and I was like, man, I said, I appreciate, but I really want that recliner. And,
when we go furniture shopping, I go straight to that recliner section, and I'll find me a good one, and I'll sit there and I'll say, when you find something you like, I'll be right here. You come get me, and I'll.
I sat in that sucker. I sat in that sucker, yawned, and just about dozed off. My wife said, "Yeah, you. I saw you almost go to sleep over there." I said, "That's kind of a clue." She goes, "You can't have that one because you'll never come to bed. It
doesn't match. Yeah.
You'll never come to bed." No, and there's no place in the room for it. And I'm thinking we need to add a bigger extension to the house so I can have a place just to put the recliner.
I want to convert my son's old bedroom, and which is upstairs over the garage, and I want it to be my room where I can put some really ugly, very comfortable recliner and a big TV that I can turn up as loud as I want to turn it up where I can hear it good.
Yeah,
and nobody will bother me and want to come have a conversation with me in the middle of watching the TV where I got to stop what I'm doing because, I don't hear good. I have to be looking at you to really, a lot of times, especially with my wife and kids, I got to be focused on what they're saying because I truly do care.
And then you tell your wife, this is going to be called the doghouse.
Yeah.
So when you're mad at me, I'll go to the doghouse, and you are going to name it the Briar Patch.
Yeah, then like throw Brer Rabbit in the Briar Patch.
Please don't throw me in the Briar Patch.
Please don't throw me in the Briar Patch.
Oh, man. I have my hearing aid. I used my last pair of hearing aid batteries about a week ago, and I just haven't found the time to go get any more. And I'm surprised my wife hadn't just stacked them up on the counter because I can't hear nothing. I mean, I can hear you talking, but I can't hear.
Oh, I get it.
And so I had to turn the TV all the way up. I get frustrated when the closed caption is not working. During the debate the other night, I had that sucker shaking the walls when they were talking. I'm like, and they're in there having conversations about stuff in the kitchen, and I'm like,
Well, the day this show airs, my two oldest children, my twins, turned 25, and we had supper at Mama's house Wednesday night to celebrate their birthday because they're going out. One of them's going to be out of town this weekend. But anyway, so it's my two younger kids, my wife, my mom, my in-laws, the two big kids with their significant others, their boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever, my son's girlfriend, my daughter's boyfriend. So all these people in my mama's little house, and and finally, I just everybody's talking. Everybody's talking at the same time. There's all these little conversations going on. And I got up, and I just me and my father-in-law both kind of eased over there to the living room and sat down and just kind of looked at each other and didn't try to talk to each other, and it was a beautiful thing. And then my youngest daughter, Tater, she comes over there, sits down on the arm of the chair next to me, and she goes, I think my social meter something about my social meter has reached the full level. And
that's your youngin'.
Yeah, and she is, and she certainly that is my child. She goes, I think my word, I've reached my word limit for the day. Like that's my youngin' right there.
Uh-huh.
I have reached my word limit, so I'm gonna just excuse myself from and then my wife comes over there and starts having to try to have some substantial conversation that we needed to make a decision about something, and she's trying to tell me about it, and I'm having to turn around and look back behind me because she's standing behind me, and I got all this noise coming from the dining area, and I'm like, you're going to either have to talk to me about this later or come around here where I can see you, and I'm going to take my hearing aids out so I ain't hearing everything that they're saying over there.
I need to be able to read your lips and your expression and body language because I need the whole conversation.
I need the whole package.
Because if you're just talking to me from behind my back, I'm missing so much of the conversation. All I'm getting is the words and not all of them. And then my wife would go, I told you about that earlier. I said, no, you didn't. Yeah, it was right in the – I said, I remember that point in the conversation, but I don't remember you saying that. Well, what do you mean? Is your memory that bad? No, it's not the memory. It's just that I didn't hear that part of the conversation because she'll be on the far side of the living room, 25, 30 feet over there, and she'll just start talking. And I hear noise, but I don't know. And I'm like, and so you don't want to be rude because then you get in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll go, I can't hear you. Because I just and she'll be running the water, washing dishes or something, and she'll say something to me, and I go, there's a whole world going on behind me when I'm sitting in the recliner, kids talking, conversations, everything going on. They could be discussing world peace and found a solution to it, and I'd be sitting over there talking about, dadgummit, now what did he say? Let me hit rewind on that just a little bit. And even I have to turn the TV. Have to just stop everything, and I mean even like with it, but it comes in.
Well, men
didn't have pause. I don't know what I can do.
Men have a short attention span to start with. We're going to listen to about the first 5 words
and one track.
Yeah, and a single thread and short attention span. To switch gears real quick, you came in right before the show, and there's a new gun out there you need to see that I kind of bought it on a distribution on a gamble, and it's from Live Free Armory. Live Free Armory. It's a Melbourne, Florida manufactured gun. It is a 2011 style gun, so 1911 top part, single action with a double stack magazine, 15, 17 round, I think 17 round capacity, 9 millimeter. Yeah. They're really popular right now with the Wilson Combats and the STIs and the Springfield Prodigy and all this, but we've got one of the Live Free Armory guns in here, made in Florida. I'm gonna get on the phone with them later today, see if we can't work out an arrangement for putting one down at the range. It is a sub $1,000 2011 pistol for anybody that's been looking. We get a lot of people in here looking for 2011 style pistols. This is an affordable, made in Florida, really, really nice, good looking gun.
It'll be nice to run one at the range and see.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how I'm gonna propose it to them. I'm gonna say, look, have y'all torture tested this thing? Because we can help with that.
Well, everything that lives at our range is certainly torture tested. But
we got
some, and you got some more Smith & Wesson.
And I got some more
Bodyguards.
Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0s. Fred's favorite pistol.
We'll be right back. And we're back. So with all the rain, what's the river been looking like out there?
So today is Wednesday. The river got up. We probably had 2 foot of water on the skeet field and over the road. Over the road over to the skeet field. The rest of the range has been fine. The water has, as of Wednesday recording the show, or Thursday, excuse me, Thursday recording the show, the road is almost passable again. The water's come down on some parts of the road going over there. I think by probably we're going to try, if the water will go away, we're going to try to have the skeet stuff up and running by the weekend. So,
did we get anything on sporting clays at all?
No.
Okay,
sporting clays, the river has to get to about 32.5 feet to affect sporting clays. At 26.5 feet, it affects 26.5 feet. We have to move machines out of the skeet fields.
We didn't get any up on the ranges, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah, we have. I'm using the Havana, Okalotney River, 27 north at Havana gauge, and it went to 28.3 or 28.5 or something like that when it peaked, and it's fallen out pretty fast now. So we should hopefully by the weekend, if you're interested in coming out to the range and shooting skeet this weekend, which a lot of people are, this time of the year we do that, or that a lot of that's going on, call first to make sure, because we're held hostage by the Okalotney River. So
But you can probably get on sporting clays as long
most
as we
certainly
can
get on sporting clays.
As long as the road's not
Yeah, it's fine.
actual deep mud.
Yeah, the sporting clays is fine.
Good.
Everything else is fine. It's just we had water up on the competition bays. Is that how it got up high enough to
That's
get on the comp bays?
Normal for a flood.
Yeah, for a 29-foot, in round numbers, 29-foot river flood at Havana. But it didn't go to. They projected it when the storm was approaching, they were projecting it to go to 31.5. So I start getting nervous when it gets that high.
We didn't get as much rain around here as we did over in Mariana, even, because I know we got more rain over there.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's affecting the fishing.
How's all this water affecting Lake Seminole and Lake Talon, Paul?
I tell you what, there's a bunch of water going out of Lake Talon Dam. I went by that day before yesterday, man.
Yeah,
they're pouring out of there. I think they got all their gates open down there at Lake Talon for sure.
Yeah, so downriver from
and
there is
same
pretty
way
cool.
on Seminole, they've been pulling on average about 70,000 CFS cubic feet per second. It's the lake's right at full pool. I don't think it's went over full pool at all. But I know there's a lot of water coming down the Chattahoochee. I had a buddy of mine just called me and said, "Hey man, let everybody know there's islands floating coming down the Chattahoochee River, grass islands."
Yeah, that's when you got to be careful up there for sure.
Yep, the Flint. There's a lot of high. I ain't really seen much wood floating down the Flint yet. And in Spring Creek, JD is still clear.
Well, that's good. That means you got somewhere to go fishing.
Yes, sir. I tell you what. Actually, this morning the bass were biting on the Flint. The Flint's dirty, but it's not real bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not red.
Out there towards the river channel. That's right. So it's actually been pretty good. A spinnerbait bite right now and a trap. They've been biting that pretty good on the Flint. And then this afternoon, I've got some folks coming in from North Georgia. They're coming down to fish with me for 2 or 3 days, and we're going to go over there in Spring Creek see if we can catch some big ones.
Yeah, if Spring Creek is still pretty clear, that's always a good sign on Lake Seminole. You got somewhere to fish. It's probably the most beautiful place on Lake Seminole, if you ask me, is up Spring Creek. So.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. I tell you. And this morning, JD, there was a mayfly hatch again.
Wow.
I've got some old timers up there. I fished with. That's been fishing the lake before it was late. They never seen that in October. Willow flies hatching.
Yeah,
this time of year.
It's I don't know. Things do change. So
yes, sir.
Are you seeing any ducks up there? I know it's not duck season anymore, but
I haven't been seeing very many ducks. I've seen a few wood ducks, but nothing. I don't think migratory at all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. How about the speck perch, crappie, whatever?
The specks
sockeye.
are grouping up in about the sockeye. They're grouping up about 15, 20 foot of water as our water temperature starts to get cooler, and as this lake starts to settle. We're getting into that time of year where the crappie fishing is going to get very good. Last week I had one of my batteries go out there that runs my electronics. I had to go back to old school. No electronics, just fish off your senses. And, boy, I tell you what, that was refreshing, JD. We caught some fish. The folks, I think we caught 15 that day. Not the biggest ones, about 4 pounds, but had to go back to just fishing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, just as long as you don't ever forget how, you're in good shape.
That's right. It is fun when you're fishing with them crappie, man. It is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you can flat load the boat and when you find them, for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Well, I'm sorry we got our wires crossed and you wasn't here today, but that's 100% Charlie's fault, and I just want you to know that. So,
okay.
I'll take the blame. That's fine.
No, I'll take responsibility for that. I should have checked that better. And I will see y'all this week coming up in studio. Maybe Fred will be back. We can talk about him sliding down that big slide he slid down there.
He's down there terrorizing the Bahamas, Nassau, Bahama this week, and so he's down there. That country will probably never be the same after having enduring Fred for a few days.
And before y'all hang up, I do believe the man's name was Mr. Barnes. I was just in Walmart earlier, and I had my guide hat on and had my name on it. He said, You from the Talon show? I said, I'm a part of it. They let me participate. And he said, man, I sure do love that show, but if he's listening, I know he is. He said he's been listening to it, I think, since y'all started.
Oh, awesome.
Just met him today, him and his wife.
Yes, sir. All right, buddy. Well, you be safe.
I hope I said his name right, but I just want to mention him.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, have a good one, and we'll see you next week, buddy.
Okay, see y'all next week.
All right, bud. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
It never ceases to amaze me, the people that listen to us. I figure we're just talking to dead air out here, and
I was
nobody's
say,
paying attention.
Walmart makes sense.
Yeah, well,
Hey.
yeah, I wasn't gonna say nothing about Paul shopping at Walmart. But,
Well, hey, I was there the other night, so hey, I'm right there with you.
I go to Walmart. I try to stay away from there as much as I can. I mean, because it's just it can.
You see interesting things at Walmart.
Well, the Marion Walmart's not as bad as, and in Tallahassee you have different levels of Walmart.
There are different Walmarts.
You got the one up there near your house, which is a different world than the one at 4400 West Tennessee Street. Now, you go to 4400 West Tennessee Street Walmart, and it's like just wading off into a mess. But you go up there near the Killearn Walmart, that's a little different.
Don't be advertising for my Walmart. They're doing fine without you talking about them.
Then there's a 27 North one up there around Lake Jackson. That's sort of like a Walmart Light. It's not quite as big, because they had to build it over a swamp, so they couldn't put as much in the old Sam's building up there, the old school.
Well, you know what I hate, and I've dealt with this at 2 different stores that we routinely go to. It's when the store all of a sudden decides to remodel and move stuff around where I can't, because we don't, we buy the same stuff all the time. Stuff that we like. That's what we do. We're human beings. We go to that place where we find the things that we're looking for and and dang if they ain't remodeling.
Well, especially men, we go in. I'm going to that.
I ain't going to shop. I'm going to get.
Yes. I walk in like a Lowe's, and I know where to go. Now, there's a difference between the Lowe's in Dothan. Lowe's in Tallahassee, there's multiple Lowe's everywhere except where I live. There's one, and then I go, dang it, I thought it was over here. We were looking for trash cans the other day, and they were out back in the garden center. They used to be inside on an aisle, and in Tallahassee there's at least one. And in Walmart, go ahead, Grant. You look like you were trying to say something.
No. I'm just
you're just holding that mic up there.
I'm prepared to interject when I'm ready.
So, but and I don't spend a lot of time in the. Our Dothan listener, I don't know the nuances of which Walmart's which, but I know there's got to be at least 2, big enough community. But yeah, now there was and it's not just the stuff. At least one Walmart in Tallahassee has the men's and the women's room backwards from all the rest. Because I've told this story, but it's been a while. But when I was on the midnight shift as a watch commander with the sheriff's office. I've got the whole county. I'm riding all over the place. And, like 4 o'clock in the morning, you're just struggling. I had to get through the next couple hours. Sergeants have to work harder. The lieutenants really don't do much unless one of the sergeants is gone, but the lieutenant's just there. And read a few reports, and I'm dead tired. And I'm going up there to see if they had any 22 ammo. And, back when you couldn't get ammo.
Yeah.
And I walked in there, and I took a left and went to the bathroom. And like all of them, the men's room's on one side and the women's room's on the other. And I hooked a left and went into the bathroom area, and I just hooked right up into the men's room. And for a minute in my tired state, I went, "Where's the urinals at?" And I'm like, "Well, whatever. Use a stall. Maybe I'm just missing them." And and then all of a sudden I hear, I'm in there, and about the time you could hear the water hit the water. I heard somebody clear their throat in the stall next to me, and it sounded rather feminine. And I'm like,
oops.
Ooh. And I guess she realized that sounded different, and my feet were pointed the wrong way under the stall. She saw these big black Danner boots pointing the wrong way. And so I let her go and wash her hands and leave.
You snuck
I
out.
got out of that Walmart as fast as I could. We'll see y'all next.